Remember the alien, the orphan, the widow. Leave something in your fields and vineyard for the ones who don't belong to any place or family or husband.
I'm Sarah Churn-Garriott. I'm a state senator, I'm a minister, and I'm running for Congress in Iowa's 3rd District. The day that things really shifted for me, I was at the Capitol the first time Iowa tried to ban abortion at 6 weeks. And I saw my state senator across the rotunda. And I ran over to him and said, what would happen to a woman with an ectopic pregnancy if this bill passes? And he said, what's that? And that was the moment. I knew I needed to do something more. And so I started working my way towards running for office. Well-intentioned people of faith have thought it was not appropriate to bring their faith into the public realm. And that left a vacuum that the religious right has filled. And there are a lot of people now realizing that it is really important to speak about these issues from the perspective of faith and claim their faith as it aligns with their values and how they vote.
The makeup of the Democratic Party, about a third are secular or religiously unaffiliated. And I think with the Republican Party, there's been a higher comfort level of mixing religion and politics, especially in more recent years. It's important to remember that about 35% of the Democratic Party is made up of Christians of color. And so there have always been, I think, Christians such as Black Protestants who've voted overwhelmingly for Democrats for decades.
That say,
I think one thing that's notable in this election cycle is that you have an increase in the number of progressive clergy willing to run for office. You have folks such as James Tellerico, who's a theology student, who just won the Texas Democratic primary, who has really been outspoken about how his values are informed by his Christian faith. And he talks about the Bible in such ways that he expresses a deep, I think, comfort level with linking his political views with his theological views. And that seems to be something slightly new for some people within the Democratic Party.
When I started to wonder the very first time, could my skill set as a Presbyterian pastor, could it translate into politics? And so much of this work, if it's done well, is showing up for people. It's listening and it's caring. You know, folks are really making impossible choices. We're seeing rural areas in our state in particular struggle with access to healthcare. The bills and the policies that are coming from Washington, D.C. are exacerbating the problem. They're making it worse, and everyday families are really struggling. And that's when I had a very clear, deepening sense of call that it was time to lean in and to take, you know, my experience as a chaplain, as a mom, as a person of faith, and start to shake things up in D.C.
I think Democrats sometimes looked at what was happening with the white evangelical Christian nationalist movement and said, we don't want to have anything to do with that. And so instead of trying to develop a different way, they just kind of closed themselves off.
and we are going to make our country great again.
I think there are a lot of people that felt like there was just too much happening too quickly. He came along and said, I'm going to take us back to making America great again. I put that on us as pastors, right? That maybe we haven't done a great job of explaining the faith to people.
In comes the rich man, his mind on saving himself.
Another thing that faith leaders can bring is hope. To be showing up in the world at this time, folks look at politics and they see it as such a negative thing, and there's so much corruption, and there are so many people who are in it for their own benefit. And so to have people of faith stepping up and running for office, it's bringing a different kind of energy.